onto the NFC Championship game. The LA Rams coming up against their division rival in the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks. The game in the AFC Championship starts at 8 o'clock on Sunday, and then this game starts at 11:30. So not too late if people are wanting to stay up for it. This will be the third time they play each other this season. The first time was week 11 in LA. LA won that 21-19, and they played in week 16 in Seattle. Seattle won that in overtime, 38-37. But we'll stick with the LA Rams for the minute. They beat the Carolina Panthers in the wildcard game, 34-31, and then beat the Bears in overtime last weekend, 20-17. First time in the NFC Championship since 2021 for the LA Rams, and that is the year that they won it. McVay's been there since 2017 now, and he's been there twice in 9 years. LA Rams, I've been a little bit harsh guy on the Rams of recent. I think they peaked at like week 12, I think, and it's gone a little bit not backwards. It's just not been as showy since. And I think they've done tremendously well in the playoffs. But I think there is areas of concern for me with this Rams defense in the secondary for me. And when you're playing against someone like Jackson Smith and Jigba, that's a problem. Like, this front nine's very good, but I don't think the front nine has been elite for the whole season. Am I being harsh, or am I overdoing it with this? And should I just focus more on Stafford and Corum and Williams and Adams and Nakua rather than the negatives, I suppose?
I actually don't think you're being harsh after what I saw against Chicago. Like, I mean, when I say I want the Bears to win that's not because of like. I just feel like the Rams rode their luck a bit. I mean, that's coming from me saying that when Caleb Williams obviously threw that ridiculous throw that only happens once in like 1,000 times. I think this is just clearly the thing of good coaching. Like you said, like McVay's managed to keep them at least tuned in enough that while they're not firing on all fronts, they still find a way to win. And this is the key thing. Like, maybe you've been a little bit harsh in that Stafford still deserves credit in that they played lower to the Panthers level, but then they had a game-winning drive, and then he did it again. So I think we're clearly just seeing a team that's capable of getting it done in the big moments. But there is definitely a few chinks in that armor where the Seattle defense will be licking their lips to think we could potentially expose some flaws in the Rams that weren't there, prior to, say, week 10. I think week 10, everybody was picking them as their Super Bowl favorite. Now, each week, I feel like everything I read, someone's trying to think of a reason to not pick the Rams because they're not as convinced.
Well, before the season even started, Adam said that the Rams will go and win the Super Bowl and Jared Verse will be Defensive Player of the Year. One of them could still be true. One of them's definitely not going to happen with Jared Verse. The Rams could still make the Super Bowl. I mean, Devontae, there's the guys on this offense. I mean, Matt Stafford, MVP caliber season. The dual-headed running back threat with Williams and Corum, who have both been really good. Corum's really taken that step up this year. You got Puka Nakua, one of the best in the game. Devontae Adams has been one of the best in the game and has that experience. They've got a very solid O-line. I mean, it is an offense that has been incredibly enjoyable to watch this season, Adam. And we got the pleasure of seeing that at Wembley as well.
Yeah, I think when you say about the fact that it kind of felt like it sort of hit the heights in week 12 and then sort of fell away a little bit, I think it did coincide with Devontae Adams being out injured. I think that was a huge reason. And the offense just wasn't as powerful as what it had been for the previous part of the season. But they're a very, very strong offense. They've got loads of weapons. I mean, they've even got the 3 tight ends that are all actually sort of very capable and have shown and got involved. And they're doing these like 3 tight end sets, aren't they? Which is just something where I think
Higbee, Ferguson,
and Colby Parkinson.
Oh yeah,
that's one.
I feel like there's Allen more. No, I feel like they've got 4.
Yeah, Allen's there. He doesn't really play much though, does he? So it's like it does seem to be Parkinson, Higbee, and Ferguson are the 3 that seem to be getting involved quite a lot. And yeah, I think that they're showing that they can score in so many different ways. I think that really does help them. Obviously, they're going up against a very good defense in the Seahawks, so it's going to be tough for them to be able to do it. But because they have so many options, and because they have got this quarterback who is arguably playing the best football that he's ever played, um, it it just kind of feels like that they've got a chance of being able to do something here. You are right regarding the secondary. It was the weak point that we said it before the season even started, that was the area that they can be got at. I feel like they have done okay, but they haven't been fantastic. So they haven't matched the same as every other area of that team. But I think that they've done pretty well. And I felt like they did really well in the Bears game. You know, they were in the right spots. I mean, obviously it helped that although Caleb had some amazing throws, also felt the need to throw it straight to them as well. So that always helps. But yeah, I just think that they're all right. They're not great, but they're all right. And I think if they can keep that and have this strong offense, then they were in a really good position in that last game away at the Seahawks in was it week 16, did you say?
Yeah, sorry, the week 16 was in Seattle, where Seattle.
Yeah, that game. They were in a really strong position and the Seahawks came back on them. But if they can get into that sort of position again and just keep going, I think this is the one team that does have the potential to outscore Seattle.
In the experience of Coach McVay's guy, I know McDonald, the head coach for the Seattle team, is been around a while, but he's not been a head coach for a long time. You know, McVay's experience in these positions now, how much is that worth its weight in gold? Because he's such a fantastic coach. We know that, and he's got really great coordinators as well. But is it maybe going to be a bit of an experience thing?
Yeah, I think with McVay, like you said, he's been in this situation as well where he's played the Niners in the postseason, and a divisional matchup in the playoffs is even more heightened, and there's extra, scrutiny from the media, but also in terms of like when you're game planning, because you don't want to overthink because you've seen something X amount of times earlier in the season. I think McVay's quite good at removing that and still looking at the X's and O's. Like, we know how big of a X and O guy he is, and the way that he talks to the media and how in depth he is. I think really ever since, and I'm not just saying it for the sake of it, ever since that Super Bowl loss to us, when he was a bit like, enamored with meeting Belichick, I think there was like a flip that day, and then he won his own Lombardi, and he's almost become like, he's not even 40 yet. I think like to have that many wins and be this highly regarded throughout the National Football League, it could be the difference maker if it's tight in the game, which all signs point towards this one being a one-score game, one way or another. So yeah, that could be the difference. And Chris Shula, he schemed up a pretty good game. I think when Darnold was on the Vikings last year, he's come into his own. Obviously, head coaching opportunities.
Yeah, I doubt he's going to still be there next season.
Yeah, exactly. Like he'll be a key factor as well. I've just got big faith in. It's almost like Seattle on paper maybe edges it talent-wise throughout, but then these are the moments where the coaching staff maybe shines through, and the key downs they execute more because of what these coaches dial up.
Have you seen the photo that Adam Schefter put up earlier about these two face to face?
No.
So head to head, the last two seasons, the Rams and Seahawks, right? This is crazy because I think I don't know. The other game feels more one-sided. I think this feels really close. The LA Rams have scored 109 points. Seattle have scored 107. Like, it's that close. And yards wise, Rams have had 1,599. The Seahawks have had 1,589. And like, there's more stats like that. There's like a good 4 or 5 stats where head to head, they are like neck and neck, equal. And yet I would say, well, I don't know. Well, they are sort of similar. They're very solid defenses. They run the ball very well. They've got a great wide receiver. They've got a great tight end game, even though Seattle's tight end isn't as, not got as many, and maybe you wouldn't say he's as good as some of the guys that the Rams have got. But I think this is such like we sort of said it last weekend, didn't we? After Bo Nix went down, we wish this was the Super Bowl. These two teams, because it's going to be obviously, Sky, you would hate that, obviously.